As someone who's worked in the heating and air for years, I've been in countless older homes across the Twin Cities, and I can tell you there's one thing that keeps me up at night: asbestos. This stuff was everywhere in older buildings. Insulation, ductwork, pipe wrapping, and disturbing it can release dangerous fibers into the air. That's why I want to tell you about solutions for asbestos-free environments. Acronym: SAFE, S-A-F-E. And trust me, that acronym says it all, because safety is exactly what they deliver. They're certified by Minnesota Department of Health and fully compliant with EPA and OSHA standards. We at Twin City Heating, Air, and Electric use SAFE for abating asbestos during older boiler and gravity furnace replacements. Our electrical team relies on them when drilling through asbestos sidings and floors. I trust them with my customers' safety, and that says everything. Whether you're replacing that old furnace, renovating, or buying property, SAFE provides professional inspections and certified removal services. I've seen what happens when people skip the inspection and just start tearing into walls. Don't take chances. Visit Asbestos.Services to learn more and schedule your inspection today. That's Asbestos.Services, ASBESTOS.Services, because your safety matters.
From working in his family's Chinese restaurant, to bartending, to becoming present-day owner of Twin City Heating, Air, and Electric, my father's true superpower is human connection. Now, he's on a mission to capture the most fascinating stories that make up the Minnesota community. You're listening to the Twin City Tales podcast.
Welcome back to Twin City Tales, where we celebrate the people who make the Twin Cities home. Today's guest grew up right here in Plymouth, graduating from Wayzata in 1970 when Highway 55 still had hobby farms on them. Steve Eckes spent 39 years in the insurance industry, but music and performing arts have been his constant companion. From playing the drum line at the University of Minnesota to gigging at weddings, bars throughout his career. Since 2016, Steve's channeled that passion into serving as a board member and business manager for cross-community players, finding venues, negotiating contracts, and keeping local theater alive and accessible. Steve Eckes represents something we celebrate on every episode of Twin City Tales. Someone who didn't just live here, but invested here, who didn't just take from this community, but gave back, and who proves that the best stories aren't always about the biggest stages. Sometimes they're about the community theater that brings neighbors together on a Friday night. Steve, welcome to Twin City Tales.
Well, thank you, Wyman. Great to be here.
Oh, when I first met you, I said that guy is something special. He's had all this at the U. He is like very musically inclined, because I saw you at Wastebasket Review.
Yeah,
and,
I remember that.
Yeah. So you grew up in Plymouth. What was it like growing up in Plymouth?
Well, I think I had an ideal childhood. I grew up on my maternal grandparents' farm, in the farmhouse they built in the early 20th century. I had cousins on both my mom and dad's side that lived within a few miles of us. So birthdays and holidays were just easy to all get together. I can't imagine a better childhood, really.
And that area is really cool, because my dad actually bought his first house right on 55 and Boone Avenue, right behind Care 11. Our backyard was Paul Douglas's backyard. And you remember back in the 70s, right?
I do. So we grew up just west of Medicine Lake.
Yes. And I remember back when Medicine Lake, my dad would take us there and go fishing, and you could actually rent boats.
Oh, yeah.
And down on Medicine Lake, and we would take a boat out there.
We'd go swimming there, fishing there.
Yeah.
It was great.
On that east side, it's now right, there's I believe a Ryerson Steel there, and there was a beach right on that side.
It's all built up.
Yeah. But you remember when they had Ford's Golf driving range right on 55?
Oh, yeah.
Brown's Market, which was almost like a a farmer's market every day there,
And the Dairy Queen. You didn't mention the Dairy Queen.
which is now a market, not market,
I think it's a
barbecue.
Famous Dave's.
Famous Dave's, yeah. And the other one that was across the street now, it's over in that Asian restaurant that was that Ladduff's. Remember?
Yeah. Yes.
That was like a staple.
Do you remember the strip mall that was there? It was a shopping center. They used to call them shopping centers. My two uncles, my mom's brothers, built and managed that for years.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. I just remember they had the old, the do-it-yourself car washes. They always looked like these big tents that were on the corner over there.
And something that goes way back, on my mom's side of the family, they had Sheeby's Corner, and it was just off Highway 55. It was an old-fashioned dry goods store that was there for years that served the people in the late 19th century.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
really?
going back that far.
Wow. So well before people probably go, 494 has been there forever, but yeah, 494, it was past the 50s.
And I remember this statistic that Plymouth had the highest horse per capita population when I was growing up. And we had all kinds of animals. We had chickens and sheep and a horse. It was just cool.
Yeah, can you imagine today having that in Plymouth or right on that
No.
Golden Valley border? No. And the other interesting thing was I saw on a PBS documentary of Twin City PBS. Apparently, they used to up to like the mid 60s. They had a parade. If you know Highway 100 very well,
Yeah.
Duluth Street to Highway 55. They run a parade on Highway 100. It was called Lilac Drive back then. But yeah, because it was built by the WPA
Sure.
project in during the Depression.
Yeah.
And remember they put those little honeycomb looking barbecue things out there.
we didn't venture too far from home, so Highway 100 seemed like a long ways away. But I don't remember that parade, but I remember other things closer by.
It's funny you say that it seems like a far away from where you lived, and yours was back then was probably really country, but when they built that, the WPA built that because they were doing that project because of the Depression, right? They were trying to pump money back in the economy. There was like a discrepancy about building Highway 100 because people in the city was like, no one's moving out there. Why are we building a highway there? That's just craziness,
And look what it is now.
Yes. Like they only had one lane going each way. Now it's 4 lanes, and I think it's up to 6 lanes.
And it's still not enough.
It's crazy. But yeah, that was some crazy times back then. And then the Cooper Theater was right there too off of
That was
Highway
the
12.
place to see a movie, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It had the theater kind of in the round, and I heard that the other thing I heard about that was they were 2 years from being 50 years old when they actually tore it down, and they couldn't save it as a historical landmark. And they only made like so many of them across the country because some film company.
Yeah, woulda, shoulda, coulda, huh?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, they tore down the Terrace Theater too in Robbinsdale.
Robbinsdale, yeah.
That was a pretty cool place.
I have to admit, I think I saw a movie called Kentucky Fried Movie there a long time ago, which was a really bad, cheesy movie. But the other one that I remembered about the Cooper was, so I grew up, like I said, in the 70s. I did see the Bad News Bears there, but remember the airport series, the airplanes that would like crash and scare you? Well, they had Airport 77 there, and they actually had a Cessna parked in front of that theater for a while.
They knew how to promote.
Yes.
My gosh.
Those theaters.
There was a great deli right next to the Cooper Theater.
Lincoln Dell.
The Lincoln Dell.
Yes.
The best pickles in the whole world.
Rubens were phenomenal there.
No, I'm hungry.
Yes.
You got any food here?
So moving on to after growing up there, and then you went to the U. Right?
Yes, was at a high school and went to the University of Minnesota. I was fortunate to have have attended the high school musicians project as a high schooler. And when I did that, I got to know Dr. Ben Cresciuto. And when I started at the university as a freshman, because I knew Dr. Ben, it kind of opened doors for me. So I was on the snare drum line as a freshman in the marching band, and I was in the top concert band as a percussionist. So it was really, really a great freshman and sophomore year. Yeah, just amazing.
Is it you have to make those drum lines like they make cuts, don't they?
Oh yeah, it's an auditioned position, and there's a lot of competition for it. I'm not sure I totally appreciated how lucky I was at the time, but I knew that it was a lot of fun, and it was great. It was just the greatest thing. I wasn't in a fraternity, but that was my fraternity.
Yeah.
We would meet at the Northrop Auditorium. The basement of the Northrop Auditorium is where we had our lockers, and that's where we would always meet during the week before all the practices, especially before a game. It was just the greatest experience.
Yeah, and even in a game, you're doing that work. I mean, you guys had to be like physically in good shape to do that too. A lot of that.
Yeah, that's true. That is a true statement. It was a big time commitment, and it was very physical.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People don't realize it. That it's athletic. It's somewhat like athletics. I mean, you have to commit to practicing your instrument and actually physically be able to do the whole marches.
Yeah, and we'd march down University Avenue past all the fraternities and sororities, and then take a right turn and go through the tunnel at the old Memorial Stadium, which was it was just like going through a cave, and the sound in there was amplified. So it was just a total rush.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
It's now, I think the Aquatic Center is there now, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, where it sits.
Yeah. The old Cook Hall was torn down, and they put the Aquatic Center there.
Yeah. Which is pretty wild when you think about it.
I know. I kind of miss that old Memorial Stadium.
Memorial Stadium was pretty cool. I saw Tony Dungy quarterback there in a couple of games. That was pretty fun. And Rick Upchurch. There's a few big names that came out of that old Memorial Stadium.
Yeah, I think Murray Warmath was the coach when I was there. Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We didn't win a lot of games, but it was a lot of fun.
No, and back then I feel like the competition was pretty tough too.
Yeah.
Ohio State was always up there. Michigan was always up there.
Yeah.
And then back then we didn't have that many bowl games, so I think we were vying for like the Rose Bowl every year, right? That was
kind of it.
That was it for the Big Ten. So it's pretty cool. I think sometimes the more you complicate things, the harder times get, right?
Well, I remember I was counting on Northwestern as a win.
Yeah, that's right. Northwestern was horrible, weren't they? But not anymore, man.
They've come a long way.
And it's no longer the Big Ten. It's like the Big 58 or something like that. Because who would have thought 30 years ago, and you got Oregon in there now, and you got UCLA and USC in our conference.
So I was in marching band in high school, which was a lot of fun too. And Wayzata was not a powerhouse in the late 60s. We were always at the bottom of the win-loss records.
Yeah. In the
Times
80s,
have changed.
all that turned around. In the 80s, they
changed.
were pretty darn tough.
Yeah.
I went to Hopkins, so I know that whole Lake North Conference. Wayzata was tough. Minnetonka was tough in certain things for hockey. And very interesting. And then after that, you got into the insurance industry. Did you major in business or did you major in music?
I am a political science major with a business minor. I decided after my second year of college that music education was not my thing. I don't know. Maybe that was not the smartest choice because I had a lot of doors open for me in that area of study. But I switched to political science with a business minor. And after graduation, I got a job through an employment agency in Wisconsin. And one thing led to another, and I stayed in the insurance industry as in claims, underwriting, and at the end, risk management for 39 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
Do you ever? I know you're kind of a music lover too, and when you started talking about that, I was thinking of George Thorogood line, like he talks about his big brother Bob gets a real haircut, gets a real job, but look at me now. I'm 10 times richer than my big brother Bob.
Yeah.
I play music all night long, but he's got a haircut and he's got a real job.
Yeah, really. Yeah, I think this idea of a real job was a true thing for me. Like, I can't make a living as a musician. But I never stopped gigging. I was in Wisconsin playing with groups, and just had luck with it. It was a nice supplemental income, and it was really my closest group of friends. And after I got married and we had little babies at home, I'd be working a 9-to-5 job and then going off Friday and Saturday night and playing gigs. That was a little tough. I can
imagine.
I married an understanding woman.
A saint, basically.
Yes.
I've met Gretchen.
She knew she married a drummer.
Hey, at least you weren't one of those drummers in the rock band that always dies, right? There's always one drummer that dies.
Yeah, thank goodness for that.
So what was your music of choice besides wedding music?
I love jazz, whether it's big band swing music, whether it's the early vintage jazz from the 20s and 30s, or small combo. The reality is that it's easier to get employment, it's easier to get gigs in a 4-piece combo than it is in a 16 to 20-piece band.
Oh.
And so I would play both, but the most lucrative was the smaller combo. Piano, bass, drums, and trumpet or saxophone lead, hopefully with a vocalist. That was always the sweet spot for making a little extra money, you know?
So you played a lot of bars or weddings, or did you market yourself as a jazz band back then?
Fortunately, I never had to do the marketing.
Okay.
I was always a side man, and I was always asked. So I just let all of that to someone else. But it kind of evolved. So in college, I had an agent, and I would play whatever job he sent me. A lot of it was old time polka music. Played in Northeast, at the Northeast bars, a lot, or at VFWs, Legion Halls, Moose Clubs, for Friday and Saturday night dance entertainment. It was before the era of DJs.
Oh, I suppose, yeah.
Yeah. And then started getting steady work in bars, 5 nights a week. Country Western band, which was not my favorite, but that was really my first bar gig was country Western. And once I had a 9-to-5 job, it was more weekend work, and weddings were the staple at that time.
Yeah. And
so it kind of follows a timeline.
It's kind of funny because I feel like the kids these days, they don't hire live bands for their wedding events anymore. It's really gone by the wayside. And I'm just thinking, when was the last time? Because I remember when I was really young, under the age of 10, I went to a wedding and they had a live band and we left.
Yeah.
But I don't. Dan, is there anybody that you know that had a live band at their wedding?
Well, Dan's a
At Grace?
DJ.
He's a DJ, but nobody does that anymore, do they?
Carter had one man live band.
Oh, that's right. He was playing for a while, but then they played DJ music in between.
Yeah, but that dude performed most.
He did, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah,
But then
that's
the
really
real
rare.
But then the real change came when we moved from Madison, Wisconsin, Middleton actually, back home. I traveled 2-3 weeks out of the month, and I just couldn't network the same.
Yeah.
So my daughters got involved with theater. Cross Community Players was the local community theater. And the first show they were in, they needed a drummer. And so I started playing theater gigs and really loved that because it challenged my reading ability, which I had lied dormant for quite a while. So reading theater music is kind of a niche talent. It's, there's a lot there. There's a lot of ink on the page to kind of like process. And so I started doing that. I started getting into it and better at it. Each show, I rarely got paid, but I would reward myself by buying another piece of percussion equipment.
Yeah.
So I have quite a collection now, and I still do the theater stuff.
Yeah. You do quite a bit of theater. What is, like, do you feel the biggest difference? Like, I don't know that much about music, but man, if I could have played music when I was younger and really get stuck with it, I wish I would have.
Yeah.
But I know, like Dan, he plays a lot by tone and ear sounding, right? And I feel like more kids are doing that. And some of these famous musicians that are, like, I believe Yngwie Malmsteen is a phenomenal guitar player.
Yeah.
And like these guys that play guitar for rock bands, they don't typically read music. They play by feel and hear.
Right.
And so what is the biggest difference between that as a challenge for?
Well, it's definitely a different skill set. And a lot of it is just God-given. It's God-given. So if you're able to process the ink on the page to what you're playing or what you're doing, because I had like 8 years of piano and organ before I started playing drums. There's that skill set, and then there's the skill set of being able to play by ear. So let's play a tune in B flat, and we know the melody, so let's just play it. That's a very different skill set. It's really important for gigging. And as a drummer, you don't always have to know keys, but any other instruments, you need to know all those keys. I think both are important. But when you talk about theater, it's definitely being able to read. Yeah, read the music, read what's on the page. When you're playing in a band for fun and for, making money and entertaining people, playing by ear is probably the more important skill.
Interesting.
Yeah. I can do a little bit of both.
Yeah.
I'm honestly better at what's on the page, but I can do both as a drummer. Yeah, absolutely.
That's really cool. And I think I've read somewhere, like, the drummer really is kind of like, as much as you hear the vocals, that's awesome. And the lead guitars are pretty darn stellar. But I mean, I know you need everybody to make the sound go, but the biggest thing is the drummer, because he's really keeping time in the rhythm. He's kind of I wouldn't say the captain of the team, but he's kind of the lead of
let's
the
put
whole
it
thing.
this way: a bad drummer can really derail the entire band.
That's what I heard. Like, you can have a bad lead guitar player, but he can still get away with playing pretty well.
Yeah.
And everybody can compensate. But if your drummer can't keep time very well,
Yeah.
now you've got problems, from what I understand.
You do.
So that's awesome. So getting into theaters because your daughter did it, I can tell you have a real passion for it. And like playing at Wastebasket Review, which was pretty much kind of a nonprofit that you're really helping out these kids.
Yeah.
What is it that really drives you into that you love so much?
A number of things. The camaraderie with other musicians is high on the list. Those are my friends. Being able to create music, just the magic of creating music is pretty compelling. And wanting to do it better, like, let's not get too comfortable playing it at this level. Let's see if we can play it a little better. That's always a challenge and fun. And knowing that you're entertaining people and you're entertaining people in the audience, and you're really giving this boost of confidence to the people on stage. You can just see it. Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. And now that you retired, when did you retire from the insurance?
2016.
And then that's when you really dug your heels and said, I'm really going to help the theater community out once you started getting into it.
Yeah, that's true.
And so
it sort of happened, though. I didn't just say I'm going to do that. It just sort of started happening.
But it's kind of where you want to go, right? Like I feel like whenever you place yourself somewhere, and if that's your thought process, like, oh, I really like this.
Yeah.
I think the universe, God, whatever you want to call it, keeps putting it more in front of you, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And really fulfills
I believe that.
what you want.
Yeah.
Where you want to go. And what I find interesting is part of what you did was you got on the board with, and how did you get connected with cross community players? Because you're on the board, you're very...
Yeah. So back to my daughters, the closest is most convenient community theater for them was Cross Community Players. And so I was connected with that theater company for continuing after our daughters graduated and moved away from home. And then when I retired, I just approached them and said, what kind of help do you need? And each year, I started doing a little bit more, and eventually became on the board. And I've served in different roles. My current role is as business manager, sometimes the production, sometimes the producer, but always the business manager. Yeah.
You're a good dad to really entrench yourself in that.
Well, and to see our we have 3 kids, a son and 2 daughters. They were all interested in sports. They all played Omega sports all year round. But for our daughters, it was the theater that just lit them, was really what fired them up. Yeah.
In case listeners don't know what Omega Sports is, it's Osseo Maple Grove
Athletic Association. Yeah. I'm sure other communities have similar.
Something like that. Yeah. It's that area. And then also, once you started getting into that, you were all of a sudden a lot of responsibilities, because I know that Cross Community Players is a nonprofit, a little smaller theater.
Right.
But you had to be the one that was finding venues, negotiating contracts with those venues, marketing, outreach, and even business development, right?
Yeah,
That's kind of how I met you.
Yes, that's true. As part of that, I joined Northwest Suburban BNI. That's how you and I met.
Yep.
And it really started putting all of my business classes to work, because when I worked in the insurance industry, it was always the service end. I never had to sell the product. I never had to market the product. But when you're in this small nonprofit, you wear many hats. We're in our 45th season, so there's a lot of legacy involved with cross-community players, but it's also a changing environment. Literally every city in the Twin Cities has its own community theater, and you're competing. We help each other out with set design and set pieces and costumes, but we're also competing for audience members at the same time many times. So it's a real layered bunch of job responsibilities, actually.
Oh, yeah.
And I enjoy it a lot.
Yeah, I can see the responsibility, and I can tell you enjoy it a lot because you have the passion to do all that, the capacity, right? Because and sometimes you probably feel like, man, I'm running out of capacity, but because your passion drives you through that, which is fantastic.
And the big payoff is when you see the show on stage and the audience is loving it. I can't say that we've had in the 8 years I've been involved at this level, I don't think we've had a bad show. They've been quality shows.
I think I saw the P and
the Prince. Once Upon a Mattress.
Once Upon a Mattress, because it was based on the
Princess and the P.
Yeah.
But Wyman Twin City Heating and Air has been there every year helping us. Thank you.
I strongly believe in supporting the theatrical arts because part of that culture really is telling the stories of the past and really bringing that out. And
really important.
I'll tell you right now, I would much rather go to live theater than a movie theater.
Yeah.
I still go to a movie theater. I just actually saw Nuremberg, which is kind of fun, but it's more intimate.
Are you going to see Wicked for good?
You know, my wife is talking me into it. I think I will. I heard that it's pretty good. And it's kind of funny that you say that. Like I love going to theaters, like for movies, depending on what movie it is.
Yeah, yeah.
Like you got to go when it's Top Gun, right? Because the scenes and the explosions, right? Going to Nuremberg, and what it was a trial of the Nuremberg trials.
Oh yeah.
It wasn't action packed.
I haven't seen it yet. Yeah.
They don't do like some big scenes of how things are laid out. Like Wicked would have that where just the special effects and everything, right? So I kind of felt like I kind of got robbed going to Nuremberg because it's like, but it was good. It was good, but that's why I think I'd want to go.
But live theater is so intimate, and when you can tell the story in a way that you can just see it on people's face, as if you're watching the audience, which I'm often doing because I'm either standing off to the side or I'm playing drums in the show and I can look out at the faces of the people. It's cool. Nothing better.
I honestly love that live theater because it does bring it right into your heart.
Yes.
You feel it.
Yes, you do.
I'm going to liken it to like somewhat like podcasts, right? I've seen podcasts that do Zoom, and then we've seen podcasts like we're doing now in person. Yeah. That in-person feeling is much more powerful than the Zoom ones, I feel. Yeah. And it depends on the content, I suppose, but...
Yeah. So I have a confession to make, and that is sometimes I have a hard time staying awake during a show.
Oh, like a live show?
Yeah.
Or a theater?
But don't feel bad. So what I try to tell people is, come as you are. You don't have to be a literary person to enjoy live theater. You can not like it. And, there's a certain amount of courtesy you should show when you're at don't be talking on the phone or whatever. But you don't have to like every scene and every show. But I find that there's something about every single show that I see that I find interesting, whether it's the sets, the costume, the dancing, and my wife and I usually go to a show every weekend, actually.
Yeah.
And community theater is affordable. You can do that.
Yes. And it's amazing for you people listening out there that one of the first times I ever saw a show was I wondered, well, when somebody asked me to show, this was before I really got into theater. And one of the first things is like, well, what should I wear, right? You don't have to wear anything spectacular. I think there's a misconception of that it's a hoity-toity thing for one thing, right?
Yeah.
Like, you can just go as you are. You know, if you're going to the Chanhassen Dinner Theater, absolutely, you probably should not wear clothes like you just changed the oil in your car. But that's a given, right?
Yeah.
Like, you're not going to go into a nice a restaurant, even an average restaurant, like you change the oil in your car. That's all you have to do. Right?
So my advice, if you're not a seasoned theater goer, eat a light meal and no alcoholic drinks before the show. Save it for after.
Why is that?
So you don't fall asleep.
I'll tell you the story how I got into theater. I was I'm still a big St. Paul Saints fan, and we got to meet Christopher Olsen, who is the St. Paul Saints nerd. He's
the nerd,
entertainer there,
he's
right?
Totally entertaining.
Yes, he's absolutely fantastic, but he does like magic shows and some speaking engagements too, like motivational speaking, or he also does entertainment speaking, right? And he had this show down in Red Wing because he's from Red Wing, and part of his proceeds was to help with saving that theater down in Red Wing, or just donating the money to that. And I go there, and I go to the bathroom, and on the bathroom wall, there's a poster that said, "Fresh off the boat, a one-act play by Moo Theater." And I thought, wasn't that interesting? And it's an Asian guy.
They're a good theater group.
Yeah, and it was an Asian guy in like a preppy, yuppie looking 80s look to it, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, that looks interesting. And then on top of it, it says one-act play. They were going to do it at some Chinese restaurants, right? It was like 5 of them slated to do at 5 different ones.
Yeah.
I grew up in a Chinese restaurant. I had a family. I grew up in a family.
So this really touched you.
So it touched me. Yeah. When I saw the poster, it didn't touch me then. It didn't. I didn't know what it was about, right? I'm like, but isn't this interesting? So we made a point to go see it in Rochester because it was only like 5 or 6 different little Chinese restaurants. It was a one-act play.
Yeah.
And that little bit that I got to see, and the premise was an Asian guy that grew up they didn't say he grew up here, but you can tell he was very yuppie, preppy.
Yeah.
And one of the things that kind of hit home, now I'm about 45 at the time, 45. It hit home to me because it was in the 80s, and he pretty much, his attitude was like, I'm not one of them. You know what I mean? Like he had that, and I felt like that touched so close to home.
Well, maybe CCP should produce that show, Wyman.
That'd be kind of fun.
We talked about that, I think, once.
Yes, I would love to bring more Asian stories into the community.
There you go.
It's interesting because Moo Theater kind of has that.
Yeah.
But what I feel like, at least for me, is like the theater really pulls you in. It also tells stories that you wouldn't normally get to feel as intensely about.
Yeah.
But what I really loved about Moo Theater, because you don't see too many Asian actors out there or Asian people telling the story, right? And if you don't know that story and you can't live it, or you can't see yourself in it, that's what I think culture has.
That's a very good challenge for us.
Yeah.
For our theater company.
And you know what I liken it to, actually? For me, growing up, like, I was a huge baseball fan. I loved baseball. I loved playing the game. But I never had anybody to look up to or emulate, right? Because life takes after lessons of learning, right? Of what you see, right?
Yeah.
And like back then, the only Asian baseball player that was in the major leagues in the 70s was, I just remember it was like Len Sakata.
Oh, okay.
A utility infielder who didn't get to start all the time, but he did play second base for him, right?
Yeah.
Like for the Orioles.
Yeah, but that's changed.
Yeah, exactly. What was the last World Series?
You see the Dodgers?
4 or 5 Asians on the Dodgers team that are pretty darn good. But if you don't get to see that in our culture, right, you can't see yourself. Yeah. That's why I think some of these Marvel movies that are coming out with like Black Panther, Asian,
very cool.
I think that's so cool that they can do that, because then these kids can look at that and go, I can do that.
It's interesting to hear your take on the importance of theater as engaging the audience and compelling storytelling. But sometimes, from my perspective, I see the effect it has on the participants. So, for example, we've had at least 4, if not 5, couples meet and get married from our shows, or young people who are in the shows and decide that that's the path they want to take for their major in college, or they'll change their major. But also so many, we have doctors and CPAs and attorneys that we have a law professor from St. Thomas in our current, has been in a couple of our shows, and this is just like so fulfilling for them. They have their careers, but this is just very important to the participants. So I'm not sure that audiences always see that side of it, but I definitely do, and it makes me feel like I'm doing something really worthwhile.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wouldn't say leaving a legacy, but doing something that's really a productive part of society.
Yeah.
Right? That's awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, I think we all want to feel like we've contributed before I leave this earth, right?
Yeah.
That I've contributed
There
something.
you go.
That's what that
Yeah.
feels like.
Yeah.
So, in that sense, talking about that, and this might be going off a little off subject, but or it's not off subject. We're talking about theater. You know, like places like the Guthrie and Chanhassen, they're fantastic places.
Oh, yeah.
I love going to those places.
Me too.
They are for profit, but they put on really good shows.
Absolutely.
But you also need the smaller community theaters, or even nonprofit theaters, such as I was on the board of directors for Yellow Tree Theater. And
love that group.
How do you help them? Now, what's the best way to help those community theaters more so too? What are some of the things we can do?
Sure. You know, if you attend a show and you like it, word of mouth is really important for additional ticket sales. So always share that information with your friends and family. Social media is really helpful. You can always donate financially. And there are other things you can do, like offer your talent, or if there's a special need, like a theater needs a new air conditioner.
Yeah.
I'm sure you would do something like that. There's a lot of tradespeople that help theater companies succeed. And in the last 8 years, when I've been doing more of this production work, I start having a deeper appreciation for lighting designers and technicians, sound designers and technicians, set builders, just with carpentry skills. And they don't necessarily want to be on stage, but they love helping and being part of this project.
Yeah.
So it's, different ways that you can help. Absolutely.
You know, and one of the things that I think that really is good to help is, like, I believe like cross community players or some of the nonprofits, they always love to have people come and volunteer to help usher.
Yeah.
And that's a good way
to
actually get into the show and see if you kind of like what you see on some
Very
shows,
true.
You know,
I forgot about that one.
Yeah, I feel like if I didn't know that, and I'm listening to this podcast, or listen to, we had Joe Wiener on, who was a trained classical Shakespearean actor.
We're trying to get Joe to be in one of our shows.
Oh, really? Yeah, he loves doing Shakespeare. He is a fantastic actor. If you ever get a chance to see him, he's really spot on with what he does, and he really pulls you. And that's a sign of a good actor.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't matter if you remember your lines directly; it's the message that you're sending out.
And the other thing I would like to share is that yes, we have top-notch professional theaters in the Twin Cities, and we have equity theaters that pay all their artistic folks, and we have community theater. But to me, it's like enjoying baseball on all different levels. I love seeing a Twins game or a Saints game, or I have just as much fun going to see one of my grandkids play a little league game.
Yeah.
It's like, it's never bad. You always enjoy it.
Right.
I think that's a good analogy.
And I've been to quite a few community plays, and I've been to quite a few professional theaters.
Yeah.
And one of the things I've noticed is even in the community theaters, you have some of those people that do it as just a passion.
Yeah.
But they just figured, I'm not going into it as a living.
Yeah.
And they're really, really good
Yeah.
at their passion because they have the craft, they have the passion for it.
And our high schools produce some magnificent, great shows. And the publishing companies make some shows available, like the teen version of, for example, Hadestown, which is a really great show. So the high school can get Hadestown, but the community theaters and professional theaters have to wait until the rights become available. So you can see some really great stuff at the high school level. The problem I see it as a problem, high schools and colleges have some good funding for performing arts, but once the actor is out of school, where do they go to practice their craft?
Community theater.
Community theater for a lot of people. That's it.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I had to tell you, one of the things that I did, which I kind of made a big mistake. Remember, I lived in the 70s, grew up in the 70s, and I was probably late 70s. A friend of mine, Ted Schmidt, at Hopkins Lindbergh at the time, he said, hey, you should go out. And he was a really good actor. He won some sort of state one-act play or something like that he was in back in 1982, 83. But he goes, you should come out for the play. You should be on drama with me. It'll be fun. And I'm like, what are you doing? He goes, Oklahoma. And now I'm Asian. I'm like, the first thing I said, there ain't no Chinese cowboys in Oklahoma. I ain't doing that. Right? But think of it. If I would have done it in 79, 80, man, I could have
You would have been a trendsetter.
I would have been the next Jackie Chan, maybe. You never know.
You could have been.
What my trajectory would have been.
You could have been. And some of the revivals, there was a revival of Oklahoma not that long ago, and it featured someone in a wheelchair. It featured people of color. So, things are changing.
Well, what's really cool is when I went to go see it at the Guthrie was Hamilton.
Yeah.
And it's a whole different type of production. And it was really good. Well, most people
groundbreaking.
Disney. Yeah, it's groundbreaking show. Right? Like, there's no real white people in there, right? But in the 1800s, it was all white people that were those parts. So it was interesting. So, well, with that, let's take a break. Anoka Meals on Wheels, a nonprofit organization that I proudly support, delivers more than just nutritious meals to seniors in our community. They deliver connection, care, and peace of mind. Their volunteers don't just drop off food. They check in, share a smile, and ensure our neighbors know they're not forgotten. I know because I am one of those volunteer drivers. Help us keep serving those who need it most. Visit mowanoka.org to volunteer, donate, or learn more about Anoka Meals on Wheels, nourishing bodies and spirits one meal at a time. Tired of lugging heavy bags of water softener salt from the store? Twin Sea Heating, Air, and Electric now delivers premium water softener salt right to your home in returnable, reusable 20-pound containers to go green and light it up to save you from injury. Serving the north suburbs, we're your neighbors who know how hard our water is. No more running out of salt and dealing with spotty dishes and stiff laundry. quality salt, reliable delivery, local service you can trust. Because at Twin City Heating, Air, and Electric, we don't just keep your home comfortable, we keep your water soft and your life easy. Twin City Heating, Air, and Electric, now with water softener salt delivery. Call today or visit us online. If you're enjoying this show, we'd really appreciate it if you could take a second and hit that subscribe button. It helps us reach more listeners. And what would really, truly help us is if you can leave us a rating or review on Spotify, YouTube, Apple Podcasts. It only takes a minute, but it makes a huge difference in helping other people discover the show, especially other small local business owners and people in our community. You can find us wherever you get your podcasts, and don't forget to follow us on Facebook at Twin City Tales for behind-the-scene contents, episode updates, and more. And we are back with the wonderful Steve Eckes.
Thanks, Wyman. Good to be here.
And this is the time where we do our picture
surprise,
photo surprise.
Surprise.
So
I don't know.
Your wife was feeling very nice to you. There's no real surprises in here that's like compromises. So you must have been really nice to her.
All right.
So
I'm ready.
This first picture of you is, man, you were young.
Yeah. So this is a picture of me in my pajamas. I must be like 5 years old. And I grew up in my grandma and grandpa's farmhouse, my maternal grandma and grandpa's farmhouse. And I have great memories of that place. So I think this was probably in the living room. And it was probably somewhere around Christmas.
Wow. And you were probably about 5, maybe?
That looks like I'm about 5 there.
Yeah. And this next one is one with you and a birthday cake.
Yeah. Same farmhouse, different room. I've got suspenders and, a little cowboy shirt of something. And I don't remember this birthday, honestly, but I remember the wallpaper in that room and the plate rail, because we were forbidden to take those plates off the plate rail and, do anything with them. There were other things up there like birds and little statues, and we like to play with them, and we were not allowed to do that. It's
incredible how times have changed. Like, this is the 60s and maybe late 50s.
Yeah, that would have been late 50s.
And I mean, our parents and grandparents probably did some goofy stuff because, you put up plates and you're not supposed to use it. I don't see that many people doing that anymore.
That's
the other thing that
from the past.
I always remember growing up in the 70s, and I don't know if you experienced it, but my friends' houses would have plastic on their sofas.
Yeah.
And they would say, you need to sit on the plastic.
Well, look at this tablecloth. That's plastic for sure.
Right. But they would put it on the sofa or on the chairs. Do you remember that?
Yes.
And then then your friend would say, don't sit on the good part. You were supposed to sit on plastic.
Yeah. I do remember
You never
that.
see people doing that anymore, but I just remember, I suppose furniture was
That's
important.
quite the cake my mom made.
That was quite the cake. That wasn't one that she ran down to Cub Foods and picked up.
No.
And this one is a headshot of you. That's a
headshot of me probably 20 years ago. And as risk managers, we were asked to do a fair amount of presentation. And there was one that required headshots. So I ran down to the photo shop in Maple Grove, and that's it. I mean, still got some brown in my hair, and I didn't need glasses back then. Is that really me?
You look really dapper there.
Thank you. Thank you.
I always think of insurance risk claim per people and just all that. And not that you spoke to mainly people like that, I'm sure, and mainly people that were in the industry.
Well, our topics were all about fraud control, fraud prevention. So how do you prevent check fraud? How do you prevent credit card fraud? How do you stay safe before, during, and after a robbery. And this was all for credit unions.
Oh, wow.
And credit unions were our policy holders at CUNA Mutual Group where I worked. Yeah.
Man, I just feel like, and hopefully you don't take offense, but I'm thinking like if you're speaking on insurance and, yes, exactly, some good snoozers right there.
Trying to make it interesting.
Exactly.
Oh.
This was you really young.
Yeah, that's we're going back a little bit.
And you have the lapel, the wide lapel on the shirt.
Wide tie, wide lapel on the shirt, a lot of hair,
and what's going on
mustache.
In the background? That's what I don't get. It's like a wall mural with two arms sticking out.
So somebody's photobombing me. Back in the day, we called it working in the bullpen.
Okay.
So you had your desk. There were no walls around you, and that's my coworker Jim photobombing me with his arms in the back. And this looks like the plant that's growing. I don't know. It's a crazy picture.
Well, it's
and those glasses are big enough to like land up airplane on them.
It's very 70-ish,
yes,
that's for sure.
Yeah, there you go.
And then I really like this picture.
Oh,
this
that's a
super
great picture.
This picture, in case you're listening, it's 3 drummers kind of in a row in the University of Minnesota marching band outfits, and it looks like it's actually in a game somewhere because you can see the bleachers in the back, and it must have been at Memorial Stadium.
It was at Memorial Stadium, and I must have been a freshman because of the glasses and the sideburns. But yeah, and I'm playing next to an upperclassman who was, a mentor at the time. He was our rank lieutenant. It was just so much fun. And it's a sunny day there. It's not raining on us. So
I'm trying to figure out in this picture, because it's a side angle and they both have glasses, and I'm guessing you're the one that's a little blonder there.
No, this is me right here.
That was you with the dark hair.
Yeah.
Man, that is some pork chop sideburn over there. I mean, I've seen bigger, but that's a pretty good sideburn. That was like the thing.
That was the thing. Dan, you gotta bring that back.
So if you could step back in time onto that field and you ran into that young man, what advice would you give him to knowing what you know now today?
Oh, that's a good question. I think, and my serious answer is, don't be afraid to follow your passion. So that would mean, don't worry that you're not going to make enough money with music. Go for it. I loved I had an interesting career in insurance, but I think I would have been more fulfilled and happier in music. Yeah.
But that's what you're doing right now.
That's what I'm doing now.
And talking about that, maybe in a few years we have a picture of you now. What's in the future for Steve Eckes right now?
I'm working on a capital campaign. I don't want to make this about asking for money, but I'm working on a capital campaign as a committee member for Avalanche Arts in Maple Grove. The city council approved a 99-year lease to Avalanche Arts to build a performing arts center in the space just east of Lifetime Fitness in Maple Grove.
Is that greenery, the theater? They have an amphitheater there, right?
Well, there's an outdoor amphitheater now called Town Green. But you can't use it in the wintertime. It's pretty much not used in the wintertime. So an indoor performing arts center would be there for a multi-purpose space, not just theater. It's going to be amazing. I'm happy to be invited to be part of it.
Is it going to be next to that Town Green?
It'll be down the street about a half a block.
Okay.
Maybe a couple short blocks.
Yeah.
Near the library and just outside of the Lifetime Fitness, which, by the way, will become part of the community center in the next 2 years because Lifetime Fitness is moving to a new location in Maple Grove. Yeah.
So that'll be part of the whole theater right there.
Yeah.
With Lifetime Fitness.
Well, the
Or where it
Performing Arts
was.
building will be its own building,
Okay.
but it'll be on the same campus
Gotcha.
as the community center.
Gotcha. And
Yeah.
how can
Super exciting.
How can the audience like learn more about that
I
project?
don't have the website handy,
Okay.
but I will send it to you so you can include it in
We
credits.
can put it in
How
our
about that?
Yeah, we can put it in the credits, or we can put it on
Yeah.
our Facebook
Yeah.
page too. That's awesome. What a great project to be involved in.
It's definitely it feels to me to be like a legacy project.
Yeah.
So how I can leave my hometown better than it was when I'm not here anymore.
And what a blessing that Maple Grove is willing to do that.
It is.
Lease to
It is.
an area to promote cultural.
There's only a
performing arts.
handful of suburban cities that already have that. White Bear Lake has the Hannaful Performing Arts Center. Bloomington has artistry.
Yes.
Hopkins has stages, but that's it. So we think that the Northwest Suburbs is prime and ready for
Definitely
its own Performing Arts Center.
Yeah. That's awesome.
To serve the Northwest Suburbs. Absolutely.
That's
Yeah.
fantastic.
Yeah.
Love it. Love it. Who is someone you would love to hear or see on this podcast, and why?
Well, one of the groups I play in is Star of the North Community Band, and we're 60 players strong. We rehearse at Totino Grace High School, and because of the generosity of not only the high school, but their band director, Tim Hoffman, we have a place to rehearse and perform once a year. I've benefited personally by borrowing percussion equipment from him. He's a great music educator. I know his students love him. And the mission of Totino Grace is to, as a private school, is to make their facilities available to the community. And so I've benefited from that. I appreciate it greatly. And I think that's the kind of person you're looking for, kind of a community
and his stories.
person.
I mean, it's the story of the people that I really am interested in. Like, how did he get there? What drove him to Totino Grace, right? Because I think we all have a purpose of where we're at in life, and sometimes it's not always like what we think it is.
Sure.
But his story. He's been in the Twin City area for a long time.
I believe he has. I know he's a good trumpet player, and he leads. He's the leader of a swing band. But what really captures my attention is how much the kids love him.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
So he has a way with being able to reach out to them.
Yeah, and he could speak to the importance of music in young people's education, because sometimes when the budgets start getting tight, the music programs suffer.
Oh, sure.
So
They certainly don't cut it out of the football program.
No, they don't. No, they do not.
Anyways, so no, it's this is a time where I really want to tell you I appreciate you having you on the show.
Yeah.
And the thing that I love doing is showing my appreciation. And
what is this?
I got you a few little gifts, not a full bucket of salt, but
it's a salt bucket, folks.
It is, but we got stuff for you. And a little trophy for you coming on the show. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Thumbs up. Thank you.
Yep. And it has your name on it so that it's a little memory of.
For being awesome. Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Look at that. Woo.
And of course, you get a Twin Sea Tales mug to remember your moment here on when you're sipping your warm coffee or tea. And I know how much of a music lover you are. So I got you some awesome socks, some different things that you can wear to BNI. And piano is one of them. And there you go.
I will definitely wear these. Yeah, they're amazing.
I figured that
we got treble clef, we got trumpet, we've got
a piano key.
A piano key.
I know, right?
There you go.
So,
I'll be styling.
Yes, you will be. You know, again, Steve, I can't thank you enough for you being on Twin City Tales. If you want to learn more about Steve Eckes and Cross Community Players, you can go to crossplayer.org. That's crossplayer, with an S, crossplayers.org. Or you can also follow them on the Cross Community Facebook page, Cross Community Players, or visit us at Twin City Tales Facebook page, and we'll post it on there. And as we roll out of here, I want to thank you, Chris Hockey, again for the use of his song Thanks, with no pun intended. This podcast is powered by Twin City Heating, Air, and Electric for all your mechanical needs in your mechanical room. Until the next show, you can't go wrong with Wyman Wong on Twin City Tales Podcast.
This song goes out to my family, to all the ones who died before me. I'm sure the family life made you do things you never wanted to, so I wrote this